Okay, here we are. Everyone, welcome to Tuesday night Team Freedom Zoom call. So glad y'all have joined us. We've had so many new people join over the past 2 months. I thought it would be kind of a fun thing for me to tell my story and share some tips from my story. So if you're a new ambassador, you may want to grab a pen and paper, and I hope we have some new ambassadors on here because a lot of you have heard my story already and might be bored. I hope not. But I'm going to share 10 of my personal keys to success. It's 10 things. Y'all that know me well know I'm a pen and paper girl. And so every month I have a new pen and paper. I just don't do online things like keeping up with things online or anything like that. I just do it in a notebook. And every month I get a new notebook, and one of the first things that goes on my new notebook is my personal keys to success. I rewrite it every month so I can reevaluate and make sure I'm still doing those 10 keys. So these are 10 things I've done since the beginning. So if you are brand new in the past 3 months, or let's even go 6 months. If you're a new ambassador in the last 6 months, either raise your hand or comment on chat. And how you comment is you go down to the very bottom of your screen and move your mouse, and you'll see a little icon, like a little bubble, and it'll say chat. So you can raise your hand if you're new in the last 6 months. So I see one hand, just one hand. Anybody else? 2 hands, 2 participants. Oh yes, you can raise your hand on that too. That is so awesome. And there's some names I don't recognize, so we probably have more than just 2 on here. So my story began 3 years ago when I was literally looking for a way to make extra income. I'm very honest when I speak. I spoke a couple of weeks ago to Amy Allen and Lita's team. I'm not sure if they're on here or not. And I'm very honest to always say that I was not literally looking for a health journey. Most of us, we hear about Plexus and we join because of one reason or another. We want to get healthy. But for me, I was literally looking for a way to make extra income. So I did different things, made candles, and I always like to say my house smelled fantastic, but there's no money in candle making. If you think you're going to make money in candles, let me go ahead and tell you, it takes about $3 to $4 to make one candle if you do hand-poured soy, and then you can sell them for maybe double that. So you have to sell a boatload of candles to make any money. So we're making like $60 or $70 on a order of a dozen. And so I just sat down at my computer one day and saw someone posting about Plexus. They were actually posting, and I remember the post like it was yesterday. She posted a graphic and it said, would $500 make a difference in your family's income? And it kind of stopped me in my tracks. And I thought, yes, $500 could. At the time, I was a coupon queen. I loved getting Sunday's paper, and I'd clip those coupons. I was even the crazy one that would go around to all the drugstores. Have you ever gotten behind somebody at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid? I was that person. So, I mean, I could just load up on coupons. And so I thought $500 a month, I could buy a lot of groceries. I could probably buy enough for a month because that's how good I was at couponing. And so I messaged this girl. So this is kind of the first little tip from my story. Make sure, even if you're a new ambassador, that you always give credit and post about the opportunity and not just post about the products. Because there's some people on your newsfeed that will be like me. If Candy had posted, my sponsor had posted just about the products, that would have not caused me to stop and take notice at all, because I was not looking for a health journey. I was looking to make some extra income. So I messaged her, and she told me what she knew about the products and the company. She'd only been in it 3 months. And so I decided just to, after a 3-way call with her upline, and the girl just told me she'd been in the company about a year. She was Emerald, and she really breathed belief in me. And so I decided just to jump in. I had never tasted the pink drink. Did anybody join and not taste the pink drink? I had not tasted it. I just ordered me a welcome kit And y'all, it wasn't a very good welcome kit. I'll say our welcome kits are so much better. It had a little flip chart in it, and that's it. It had the products and a flip chart. And the products came, and I thought, if I'm going to take these products, I'm going to be consistent, and I'm really going to do what my upline says. She tells me to drink my water and to take my products consistently, so that's what I'm going to do. So I just jumped in, and it wasn't until about a week in that I felt a little different. The first thing I noticed is I felt more energy. And I thought, you know, in my little brain, because I didn't know what I was doing, y'all. Remember that. I had been a nurse for 22 years. I didn't know anything about MLM. I didn't know anything about Plexus. But something in me thought, I bet there's a lot of people that struggle with energy. And so that was my first post. 7 days in, I posted about the energy I was feeling and about how much better I was feeling, and I was taking these products called Plexus. So that's kind of another tip from my journey. Don't wait to post. A lot of people will say, I'll wait till I have a big testimony. Well, sometimes energy is enough, because just think of all the millions of Americans that drink Red Bull. Millions of Americans. They drink Red Bull, they drink Diet Pepsi, whatever their drink of choice, coffee, anything to get them through the day. So I noticed more energy. And little by little, my results started getting better and better, and I literally came out of a fog. And to give you my backstory, before I started Plexus, I was not only chronically fatigued, which meant I could barely make it through the day. At work, I would drink a ton of coffee, a ton of Diet Pepsi, candy, whatever I could get a hold of to keep me energized enough to work, because I just wanted to go to bed. And then I'd come home and I would crash, completely crash. It felt horrible. I was relying on sleeping pills every single night. I had for the past 7 years been on a sleeping pill. And then my gut was completely messed up. I was relying on all kind of Pepsid, any sort of acid reflux medicine, tons. I would just eat Tums by the bottle full, the big, huge one. And so all of that just gradually started going away, and I started feeling better. And so I just posted about it. I shared it. One of the first people that I shared it with is on this Zoom call tonight, my cousin Tammy Matron from Indiana. Right away, I was messaging her, telling her that I was doing this thing called Plexus, and I really encouraged her to do it with me, because she was someone I was close to. And that's another tip from my journey. It's okay to message people and to talk to people that are close to you and just encourage them to do it with you, because it's fun. Tammy and I never got to see each other before Plexus, and now we see each other all the time. We counted up the other day and we were blown away. We went from seeing each other every 2 to 3 years to seeing each other 3 and 4, 5 times a year. So she told me no for, I think, 4 months. Was it 4 months? 3 months. She told me no. She wasn't interested. It wasn't her thing. She gave me every excuse in the book. I don't need those products. I'm not really interested in doing the business. Well, now Tammy is a senior Ruby. So about to be Emerald. So don't take no. That's another tip from my journey. If someone tells you no and they're a close friend or family member, it's okay to ask them again. They're not going to, I was probably getting on Tammy's nerves, but I knew she was not going to block me, defriend me, tell me to shut up, because she loved me. So it's okay. And I did that also with my daughter-in-law and one of my very best friends. I just wanted them to do this with me. So it's okay to pick out 3, 5, 10 people that you just want to be on this journey with you, and talk to them and try to convince them to do it. Do whatever it takes. I was sending her pictures of my paycheck. The first month I made $250, and I sent it to her. And then every month after, I was sending it to her. So my husband also, I'm a few weeks in, having great results, trying to convince people to go along this journey with me. My husband was still is a type 2 diabetic with chronic IBS. His IBS was horrible. That's irritable bowel syndrome. For those that don't know what it is, look it up. You spend a lot of time in the bathroom. So he had about 2 to 3 episodes a week. His diabetes was completely out of control. We could not get his numbers under 200. They're supposed to be between 80 and 120 is normal. He had daily headaches, daily fatigue, brain fog. He was sick. And it was like living with Mr. Grouchy. If you know someone that's a diabetic, That's something they struggle with, is just feeling good. And so he was super skeptical, like most husbands are, and most of our spouses are. And I just mixed the first drink up and handed it to him. And I said, look, what could it hurt? You already feel like crap. So what could it hurt if you drank this and do this with me? So he begrudgingly agreed. And within just a few weeks' time, he started feeling better. So he was like, you know what? There's something to this. And now he takes almost every one of the products. He is my biggest cheerleader and has had an amazing health transformation. He is almost 3 years in of taking products, and he is completely off not only his IBS medication, but he is completely off all of his diabetic medication. And when I say that, I'm talking about he is no longer on glucophage, metformin, or insulin. So those of you, and he is just had a birthday. How old is he? 48. So he had been diagnosed at about 37. So he'd been a diabetic a while. He also, just because I told y'all that, that's completely non-compliant. We're not supposed to say we heal people's diseases, although it's the truth. I mean, it is the truth. And he also watches his diet. And I'm not saying he's not a diabetic, but he has no more symptoms from his diabetes whatsoever. So with me, I couldn't keep that quiet. You know, a husband that's coming off medication and feeling good and not grumpy anymore. And for me, the first time in 7 years, not on a sleeping pill, I lost 25 pounds in about 6 months. Went from a size 14 to an 8. I wasn't going to keep that quiet. So I just started sharing. Facebook is a great place to start sharing, but you also need to share in your network with your friends, at your job. I shared at my job, at your kids. If your kids play sports, that's a great place to share. If they do gymnastics or dance, with your church friends, with your neighbors. And in 6 months, I matched my nursing income. And I know some of y'all probably say, wow, is that really true? Yes, it's really true. I matched my nursing income in 6 months. And that's when I knew these products were gold, and they were for everybody, and they worked. And so I started sharing even more. And within 13 months, I hit the rank of Emerald. And if you're new to Plexus, all that is, it's just one of the top ranks in the company. It's a 6-figure income. It's a company, Plexus Lexus, that you drive, that you don't pay for. And it's an annual trip to Hawaii. And I will go in September for my 3rd time. So this opportunity is completely real. I am just a normal, average person. I live in a super tiny I like to say a little hick town. It's my town, so I can call it a hick town if I want to. It's about 30 minutes outside Birmingham. It's not a fancy town. We have our fancy restaurant is the Mexican restaurant, kind of like Sheridan, where Tammy lives. We have McDonald's, KFC, Burger King. We have a couple. It's just an average place. I live on an average street in an average town, middle America. But I found that I was passionate about something. And if you're passionate about something, that can take you a very long way. I completely believe in this company. And here are my tips if you're taking notes. First one is belief. If you've just started, and when I meet with people every day, and I talk to people, that's the first thing I say. I say, just number one, you need to just believe in these products. The way you're going to believe in them is to take them consistently and develop a testimony. That's how you believe, and just fall in love with the company and the products. If you can't handle one, if you can't get the first key to success, which is belief, then nothing else is going to follow. And for those of you that have had the opportunity to go to convention or go to Leaders Retreat, and that builds belief. Y'all that are going to go to Leaders Retreat for the first time, your belief, Ashley's just smiling, her belief is going to go through the roof. Once you get there, I mean, you realize that you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And it's not this little ho-dunk company that's pushing a magic pill. We're actually changing lives. Number 2, it's important to find passion. Be passionate about what you're doing. I mean, this is something amazing, guys. You know, this is not, people think that I'm just a stay-at-home mommy and I just do this for kicks. Absolutely not. I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about helping other people Because let's just be realistic. If you're a working mom or a working dad and you need some extra income, what are you going to do? Unless you take on an extra job and work 11 to 7, or either you fall into a bucket of money, which is probably not going to happen, or find a rich uncle that just left you $1 million. There's not a lot of options to make income if you're a 2-person working household, or even if you're a stay-at-home mom, there's not a lot of options. So it's time to get passionate and share that passion with others. Number 3 is consistency. You know, I have people that tell me sometimes, you know, maybe I can do this a couple days a week or a couple days a month. You've got to be consistent and do just small things daily. It's not about eating an elephant all at once. It's about just doing small things daily, but you have to do it consistent. If you're going to post or you're going to reach out to people, you can't do it once a week and then just lay it down. You have to do it. You know, I'm a pretty big believer at least 5 days a week, because think about this. If you worked for someone and were doing the amount of work you're doing right now for Plexus, would you deserve a paycheck? Is just posting on Facebook enough to get a really good paycheck? Not really. You got to do a little bit of work. So number 4 is mindset. I tell my leaders all the time, network marketing is not for sissies. It can get rough sometimes. You know, when you have a week that it's like crickets and you don't hear from anybody and you message tons of people, but I promise you, if you're messaging and doing your work, it will come up. The harvest will come up and people will join, and you will. It's like a roller coaster. It's like you're on a roller coaster a lot of times. So mindset is so, so important. Things to help your mindset is to read books that are just great personal growth books. One of my favorites is What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. That's a really good one on mindset. Any John Maxwell book that you pick up is great for mindset. We're reading one right now. It's called Get Over Your Damn Self. It is great for mindset. It's wonderful. Sorry if I have kids in the room. I just said an ugly word. Number 5, and this may be one of the most important things, is to find a running buddy or be in a really exciting chat group. I honestly think it's almost impossible to have success in this kind of business unless you have a running buddy or you're in a really good chat group. If you don't have those 2 things, contact your sponsor and ask them, what do I need to do? How do I get in a chat group? How do I find a running buddy? It just makes it, it actually is kind of a cherry on top of a giant ice cream cone. It just makes it so much sweeter. And also it's good for when you're having a hard time. You have somebody you can talk to and someone that you can get ideas from. So it's super important. For me, this is one of my keys to success. And this is number 6, faith and prayer. I mean, that's just how I roll. Got to have faith that what we're doing works, it matters, and then prayerful about what we're doing. Number 7, it may take some sacrifice. You know, in the beginning, I was working full-time. I had 2 kids at home. So, and I do this with people. I talk to people and I say, just tell me what's your days like? Where do you have time that you can work? You know, I'm looking at some of you that I know are making great sacrifices, that work super hard jobs, that get up really early. For me, the sacrifice I made was at night. At night, instead of doing the things that I usually did, which was watch TV or spend time reading a book, I would work my Plexus business. It is so worth it. I actually let go of a huge TV addiction. I thought I was sacrificing, but really in the end it turned out to be great, because it was a lot of mindless things that I was doing watching TV. Sometimes you'll sacrifice more. Sometimes you'll be away from your family, or sometimes you may really want to do something that you don't get to do. So it takes a sacrifice at times. The next thing is self-talk. It's super important to stay positive and don't think things like, I'm never going to be able to grow a Plexus team. This is too hard. I can't do it. Other people can do this, but I can't. Don't say that stuff. Self-talk is so important. There's an app. It's called the Think Up app. I suggest that anybody in multi-level marketing, all of you guys need to get it. It's called Think Up. It's a affirmation app where you can record affirmations and listen to good stuff. It's been proven. Scientists have proven that children that grow up in a home where they're constantly being told that they can't do something, that they're no good, they'll never amount to anything, that they're stupid, guess what? That's what happens to them. They think they can't, so they don't. So they grow up and they don't think they can, so they don't apply themselves. And they make bad grades and they're in trouble. And then the polar opposite. If you're growing up in a home where your parents tell you you can do it, you can do anything, you can accomplish anything, you're beautiful, you're smart, those kids are the ones that are accomplishing and doing. So it's really important what comes out of your mouth about yourself is positive. This is my soapbox. Self-talk is my soapbox. It's okay to be discouraged at times, reach out to someone and tell them, but what you say out of your mouth needs to be positive because your brain hears it and it believes it. And if you want to get more into the technical side of that, get the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. It's really good about self-talk. The next thing I would say, my personal keys to success is travel. In the very beginning, I told myself if there was a meeting anywhere that I could drive to, I was going to go. It is super important. I just don't understand how there can be meetings in your town and ambassadors not go. Unless you have like something so important. If your kids are in the hospital, you're having a baby, or you need to be there. It's so important to travel, to be at events, to attend all you can. And not only is it good for yourself and people see that you're serious about your business, and this is not just something I do for kicks, y'all. This is not just a little bitty, I don't know what people think sometimes, that this is just what I do for fun. No, I'm super passionate about this. This is my business. I'm a CEO. I'm a CEO of a 6-figure business. So travel is super important. You're the CEO of your own company. And let me tell you, CEOs, they show up. If you're the CEO and there's a call or there's a Zoom or there's a meeting or there's an event, would a CEO miss that? Heck no. They would be there. They would not miss it. So I do understand that we've got a lot of working men and women on here, and sometimes you have to miss. But if at all possible, just try to be there. The next thing I would say is personal growth. You will not succeed in this business. I've been in it 3 years, and I've seen people flat out tell me, Datha, I don't need to personal growth, have personal growth. I don't need to grow personally. They're not in the business anymore. You have to. There's a lady, her name is Sarah Marble. Write it down. Sarah Marble. She's got a YouTube channel. She is incredible, and she coined this little phrase. She said, Plexus is nothing but a self-development plan with a compensation plan attached. Meaning, the more you grow personally and develop yourself, the bigger your paycheck will be. And I didn't understand that at all when I first started. But I believe Sarah. I watched her and I said, well, if she says it, I'm going to do it. And talking about Sarah, it's real important. Sarah Marble's a diamond. There's other ones. There's Sonia Dudley. There's so many good ones. There's Tamara Holloway. There's Jessica Heffley. You need to be following these people and emulating them and doing what they do, watching their videos. That's just a really good key. You can't learn about the company unless you invest in watching these diamonds and what they do and duplicating what they do. I would say the last key to success is no excuses. Absolutely none. For every excuse that you have, there's somebody making it happen. If you say, Datha, look, this is so hard. I've got 6 kids. I know somebody with 12 kids in Plexus making it happen. If you say, Datha, this is so hard. I'm a single mom. I know a girl that was a single mom with 6 kids, worked a full-time job, and she's making it happen. So think about that excuse you have. What is keeping you from reaching your potential? Is it time? Is it too many responsibilities? Whatever that excuse is that you have, there's somebody in Plexus with those same excuses making it happen. You say, Datha, my network is just not big enough. Look at this girl named Christy White that lives in a town in Leakey, Texas that has something like 400 people in the whole entire town, and she's a Diamond Ambassador. She had no network. Not only did she have no network, she was living in a trailer with no running water. And she just wanted it so bad, and she made no excuses, and she made it happen. So you can do this. That's the most amazing thing about this industry. You can be a high school dropout, a college dropout. You can never attended college. It doesn't matter what your background is. Anyone can succeed at this business. You don't have to have a 4-year and 8-year degree. You know, you just have to start out and you have to treat it like a business. Let's just say it takes you 4 years of consistent activity and growing and working this business to make it to the top of the company. Let's not even take it to the top. Let's just say where I am. Little me, Datha Whitfield, in this little town. I'm coming to you live from my husband's den, his man cave, in a basement, guys. And I've managed to work up to Emerald a 6-figure income. If it takes 4 years, think about how many people go to school 4 years and graduate and make 30-something thousand a year. I know this because my daughter graduated last year with a teaching degree and took her first job at Pleasant Grove Elementary, making 30-something thousand a year after 5 years of school and over $100,000 in student loans. So this business, you can start for $35, and in 13 months, you can be making 6 figures. If I did it, you can do it too. All you need is to follow those keys, have lots of belief, lots of passion, and you can do this. People are doing it on this team right here. I'm looking at my cousin Tammy Batron that is just one step below me, working hard to make Emerald and that 6-figure income. And my little daughter-in-law that I don't think she's on because she's got a small group tonight, same thing. We've got many people ranking up. I'm looking at some senior gold, some people that are about to be ruby. It can be somebody that's about to be gold. Look, no, I see some no excuses. I see somebody on this call that works 50, 60 hours a week about to be gold. So don't use an excuse that you don't have time. If she's carving out the time, you can too. It may take you working after you put your kids to bed, but it is worth it, guys. It's worth it because it gives you freedom. I no longer have to punch a clock anymore. I've punched it for 22 years, and I lived by somebody else's rules, and I hadn't got a raise in 7 months, or 7 years. In 7 years, and I only had 2 weeks of vacation. So the time freedom to me is just as important as the income. But the income is fantastic. I get to do what I love. I get to just work with people and talk about health and wellness. I'm contemplating going back to school, not online. I'm not going to a classroom, but to further my knowledge of health and wellness. Because, y'all, half the world is sick. 30 million people alone take medications for stomach issues. By the year 2030, its statistics show that 50% of Americans will be diabetic. We have something that people need. On the flip side of that, people that have jobs in retail are losing their jobs all over the place. JCPenney's just cut stores in every town. Major retailers are closing. People need what we have. We have a means to make extra income, and we have means to get people healthy. So be encouraged. Does anybody have a question before I end? I don't mind answering. You can, number 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7 is sacrifice, Cindy. Yeah, if you have a question, you can just put it on the chat, or you can unmute yourself. And I'm going to stop this recording.